Welcome to the Show Day podcast season preview of the Blue Devils. The Blue Devils hail from Concord, California. They're 18-time DCI World Champions. They've been a semifinalist and finalist every year in DCI since 1974. Remember, DCI started in 1972, so the Blue Devils have really almost always been in semifinalists and finals. Last year, 2018, second place, 97.35 final score on the season. The Blue Devils, they have not placed below that second place mark since all the way back in 2006 when they placed third. So that's a lot of time, 2007 to 2018, first or second every single year. Let's jump right in now. So, the 2019 schedule, first up for the Blue Devils, they will perform June 21st at the Mid-Cal Champions Showcase in Clovis, California, where most of the Western world-class corps get their start on the season. June 22nd, I want to point out two events here. June 22nd, June 29th are the two events that will be streamed live on flowmarching.com. June 22nd, DCI West in Stanford, California, and June 29th, Drum Corps at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Those two shows really, unless you're in California and going to that Clovis show, really it's the first look at the Blue Devils, Santa Clara Vanguard. The Cavaliers are out there this year. So really, I like those two shows because June 22nd, it's what they first put out, and then June 29th, it's what they've been working on, and now that they've got some judges' critique and feedback, they've now started to add to the show and make it a real great show that it will be championship contending at the end. After Drum Corps at the Rose Bowl, they'll perform at the Western Corps Connection June 30th in San Bernardino. Then they'll head up to the Pacific Northwest at the beginning of July, for shows in Oregon and Washington. So then moving on in the schedule, July 9th, the Blue Devils will move a little further east in the United States. They'll perform at Drums Along the Rockies Boise Edition in Boise, Idaho. July 10th, Corps Encore in Ogden, Utah, leading up to July 13th, Drums Along the Rockies in Denver, Colorado. Over the next week, between that show and the DCI Southwestern Championship on July 20th, they'll perform at three shows: Drums Along Kansas, DCI Broken Arrow, and DCI Katy. Then they'll be performing, as I said, DCI Southwestern Championship first show where all the world-class corps come together in San Antonio. And then they'll finish up Texas Tour July 22nd with DCI Mesquite in Mesquite, Texas. They'll finish up their schedule with this final third starting July 24th, the DCI Southern Mississippi event in Hattiesburg. July 26th, the Masters of the Summer Music Games in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Two straight shows then that are streamed live on Flow. July 27th, the DCI Southeastern Championship in Atlanta, the second regional for these corps this year. And then July 28th, Night Beat in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Crown's home show. July 29th, Soaring Sounds in Centerville, Ohio. August 2nd, Friday night of DCI East will be performing in Allentown. August 4th, DCI Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then finally, August 8th through the 10th, the tour will wrap up in Indianapolis, Indiana, with the DCI World Championships, where the Blue Devils look to capture their 19th DCI World Championship trophy. So, the 2019 drum majors for the Corps, the students that will be leading them from both the podium and as student leaders. First, Everett Kim. This will be his fourth season in the Blue Devils. 2016 and 17, he performed as a trumpet in the Corps. 2018, now 2019, as a drum major. He's currently a student at the Berklee College of Music in Boston, majoring in film scoring. Caden Straughter. Last year, he was a field assistant for the Blue Devils. This season, a drum major. He's currently attending Kansas State University in an undergraduate program for a bachelor's in kinesiology. Chasen Young, he's an undergraduate studying music education at Jacksonville State University in Alabama. He marched Atlanta CV, the DCA Corps, in 2016, marched Oregon Crusaders in 2017, 2018, last year serving as drum major. And finally, Alexander Tran, he was the drum major for the Blue Devils B Corps last season. This will be his first season with the Blue Devils A Corps. So the main staff for the Blue Devils this year, first up, Sean Gallant, the new executive director. This will be his first summer tour with Blue Devils Performing Arts. Comes over from the corps director position at Santa Clara Vanguard, now the executive director at Blue Devils Performing Arts. David Gibbs, the senior executive advisor, he marched the Blue Devils from 1974 to 1980, including a few years as the drum major. He was the CEO of the Blue Devils from 1991 up to 2015 when he stepped down. He's been the chairman and the chairman of the board of directors, rather, for DCI. He's also currently the System Blue president. Patrick Seidling, the corps director, he's been the BD corps director since 2014. He is staffed on the Sundowners, Pioneer, Madison Scouts, Southwind, Phantom Regiment, lots of different corps. He's the 2003 Drum Corps International Director of the Year. Scott Chandler, he's the one that writes the show. He's the program coordinator and a choreographer for the corps. Jake Murphy, the visual caption head and designer, he's been an instructor with the Blue Devils since back in 1981. He currently works with Mission VHO in California, Cheshire High School in Connecticut, and Sierra Vista High School in Nevada. He's worked with a WGI Championship WGI Championship group. He worked with a WGI Championship group every year from 1990 to 1998. That's 9 consecutive seasons in Winter Guard International where he was a part of the WGI winner. That is also unheard of, and really this staff lineup here, as well as the talent that comes from the student level, is why the Blue Devils have 18 championships and are looking to make that 19 this season. Dave Glide, he's the music director and arranger for the Blue Devils. Scott Johnson, percussion caption head and arranger. Brian Dinkle, front ensemble caption head and arranger. John Meehan, he is the brass caption head and arranger for the Blue Devils. He's been with the Blue Devils since back in 1994, so been with them for a significant period of time. Clients of his have won Bands of America championships, state championships, Bands of America regional championships. So really, he works with some of the best bands in the nation. John Meehan, fun fact about him, he performed on the soundtrack of the Monsters U movie. He is a member of the 2019 recently recognized Drum Corps International Hall of Fame class. And finally on here, Todd Ryan. He marched Madison back in the 70s. He is the visual caption head now for the Blue Devils. He was a show designer and visual caption head for Star of Indiana during their best years in DCI. He's a Hall of Fame member of DCI. He consults, writes, and judges for bands around the nation. So, as is the case for every DCI Corps, you have to have the preseason, the spring training rehearsals, all that fun stuff. So, the Blue Devils started on May 18th and 19th with a rehearsal at Los Medanos College in Pittsburgh, California. Blue Devils really have one of the most complex preseason schedules, really varying with a bunch of off days and full corps rehearsals. I'll walk through a few things on here. May 29th, June 2nd, full corps rehearsal at Los Medanos College in Pittsburgh. As I said before, they get an off day pretty much every week. May 28th, they get one, June 3rd, June 10th. And then they kind of make a final push before the season starts, June 11th through 14th. Full corps rehearsal at that same location in Pittsburgh. June 15th is their family day in Pittsburgh, and then June 16th is another full core rehearsal in Pittsburgh, and then they'll take from June 17th to June 20th, get prepared for that first show, and then go out on June 21st in Clovis and try to beat Vanguard and score highest at that show. So, the Blue Devils 2019 production, what will they be coming out with this year? The 2019 Blue Devils show is entitled Ghostlight, They Pretend Is Near. So, this show really is another one of these more abstract show designs, kind of a little bit like Metamorph was, or As Dreams Are Made On was. Dreams and Nighthawks, I'm not going to consider as a very abstract show because of how Nighthawk is a painting, and you can kind of tell what they're trying to do. They're building the painting throughout the show, so I'm not going to use that as an abstract example. This might be one of the more, unless the show's about ghosts and lights, which I highly doubt it is, this show really is one of the more abstract designs they've had in quite a while. And if you really think back, Ink, it's really right there. You see it. Fellini-esque. It's telling the tale of Fellini. So I think they're kind of highlighting a little bit more of an abstract view this year. So the music that they will be playing, is inspired by the following selections, starting off with Cycle Song by Imogen Heap, Rhythm Song by Paul Smadbeck, A True Passion and Stroke of Genius by Lauren Balfe, Symphony No. 3 by Aram Khachaturian, Ghostlight, an original piece by Dave Glide, and Circus by Britney Spears. So really, if you ask me what I think the Blue Devils will come out with this year, I think it's going to be, like I said, a very abstract show that'll really catch the judges' minds, but definitely you'll have to see it a few times as a audience member and as a fan to really understand what they're bringing to the table. I mean, they might have the show in a way of where it is not so abstract, but really with this title, it's not totally right there, and you see it like these recent shows have been for the Blue Devils. So that's how I'll end this season preview. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.